Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
Wouldn't some hot buttered popcorn hit the spot right now? Extra fluffy, extra big kernels of it pop to perfection. Then drenched with the golden goodness of pure sweet creamery butter. Can't you just taste it? We heat the container extra high, but you better buy 2 more for the rest of the family. Piping hot, golden buttered popcorn at the refreshment center right now.
To all our wonderful customers, may this Christmas be your merriest. May this New Year be your happiest, is the sincere wish of this theater and these friendly business firms.
If you're mighty thirsty for something mighty good, our hot chocolate's just a drink. It's a beverage and a food. Get hot chocolate and see just how good a drink can be.
And you've been a good boy?
Yes, Santa, a very good boy.
Well, I've a hunch you'll get that present. Now, tell Santa what you want.
I want to get married.
You will, you will. The heart of a child is a wonderful thing, worth more than all the presents in the world. But presents are good things. They symbolize our good feeling for each other. And I hope that among your presents, you'll find the things you'll cherish from the ones you love. To Mother with love. To Dad with love. To Junior with love. To my best girl with love. Merry Christmas with love. You see, the present is merely the symbol. It is being together, being kind, respecting one's friends and neighbors. That's the true spirit of Christmas. And I hope that spirit is reflected in the hearts of everyone in this audience. Merry Christmas.
It's cause for celebration. Now you can enjoy a real taste thrill right here. Yes, it's the all-American favorite, hamburgers, prepared from selected choice beef. A feast in itself, charbroiled to give you that cooked outdoors taste. Hot and ready to serve you right now. Cooked just right. Goodness you can see and taste.
Come and get 'em!
Yes, come and get 'em. Better make tracks right now to the refreshment stand. there's one waiting for you. Any age is the right age for a hamburger. You want more? Well, it looks like Fun Burger time. And for that extra taste treat, top it with the goodness of golden mellow cheese. A cheeseburger, put together just the way you like it. A man-sized meal everybody enjoys.
Come and get 'em!
Greetings to Father, who works all year for the family and outdoes himself at this joyous season with lots of surprises for everyone. Greetings to Mother, that miracle worker of the home whose loving effort seems sometimes like magic. And greetings to little brother, usually a terror, but somehow since he visited Santa at the department store, he's not been himself at all. Greetings to Sister, who was so busy decorating the house with mistletoe and then seemed to forget it was there. Greetings to Grandma, Grandpa, and all your uncles and aunts. May you gather round the table for your Christmas feast in the joyous tradition.
And may your celebration be filled with all the good things of life. And may the spirit of peace and happiness, love and good fellowship, which is the true meaning of Christmas, encompass your entire family.
What we want to say is that the management and staff of this theater, all of us, all of you, good luck, good health, good times, and a very Merry Christmas.
Hey, kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet. Otherwise, we will be forced to evict all disturbance makers from the theater. Those asked to leave today will be refused admission to this theater in the future. Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Hi, Merry Christmas, and so on and so forth. I see you've been chatting there in the thing. We got the Kong's here. I got the three Godzilla brothers and little Christmas outfits there. I've got the monsters have their tree up. Old Hunchback is wearing his Santa hat there. I've got my Uncle Scrooge chic going on right here. And welcome to our Christmas live stream, I guess, after Christmas. Actually, after Christmas and my birthday. My birthday was yesterday. So this gets to be me showing off all the things I bought for myself on the holidays with the money that I got, mainly as my presents. But yeah, you guys have been chatting there. Hello, everybody. Doug, glad you made it. Enoch, Queen, good to see you back. Milton here. Richard Strange. Expose, who was the first one here. It's like an hour and hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Yeah, hello everybody. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, don't ask how old I am. Rex also here. Excellent. Very good. Gang's all here. Excellent. So, how was your Christmases and everything? Then, chat. We're gonna do some unboxing stuff later on. I've got maybe some cartoons and maybe a movie queued up if we get bored. But we'll see. Merry Human Christmas, Cory. My birthday is in like a week as well. So this will be my last stream as a minor. Cool. Move on to a new job. Not being a minor anymore. Excellent. Nice. Yeah, luckily a week away is like far enough away you don't have to hopefully worry as much about like people tag teaming like, oh, here's your one present for Christmas and your birthday. Because that sucked. Now luckily my parents did actually keep that pretty separate. Not that everybody else did, but yeah. Enoch was on Land of the Lost. Excellent. Yeah. Nice dinner with the family on Christmas. Excellent, excellent. My Christmas was Nosferatu-iferic. Nice. Yeah, Derek, I mean, you saying that it was a Nosferatu was a good sort of thesis statement on gothic vampire stories in general. Queens, I remember you. Can I? Rex, great. I got a Nazca collection and vocal cord and a vocal cords. I can finally talk to people. Nice. Was it the Nausicaa manga collection that you got? Because the Nausicaa manga is amazing and way so much more than the movie is. Watching the movie feels incomplete after reading the entire manga. But yeah, I haven't decided if I want to see the Nosferatu or not. Derek, your recommendation would certainly go a long way to convincing me it's worthwhile. Um, but it's sort of like one of those. Well, okay, it's a remake. I did see the Werner Herzog version, so that was long. But why remake Nosferatu? Yeah. I took my parents to the Nosferatu remake, and my mom left after 30 minutes because of how scared she was. Oh my goodness. So it's good then, is what you're saying. I enjoy the new Nosferatu even if I did not like the monster design. Yeah, I heard the monster wasn't exactly a Max Shrek, which is sort of like the only thing that makes Nosferatu different from Dracula. So, yeah. Watched the last voyage of Demeter, and 1979 Nosferatu the Vampire on Christmas. Nice. Yeah, well, I did my video on the lost, the last voyage of the Demeter. That was certainly a movie that happened. 79 Nosferatu. Yeah, I mean, you really have to like Werner Herzog, I think, to get that one, the most out of that one. I did see Nosferatu the Vampire, the Herzog version. Back, I've mentioned this more than a few times, of how my city used to have this like fantastic movie theater. It's like a 1950s Art Deco movie theater, and they would do like Halloween shows and Halloween parties and stuff like that. So at this thing, I have seen both the original Nosferatu and the Herzog Nosferatu, both at this thing at different Halloween parties. And yeah, I mean, the Werner Herzog is an acquired taste. So it is what it is. It is what it is, and maybe a little too long, but basically imagine the Coppola Dracula with the redeemed by love stuff yanked out of it. Ooh, that sounds intriguing. Because I was always sort of the little confused, like, oh, we have to make Dracula a tragic hero kind of thing. Which, I mean, I like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Don't get me wrong, I do like it, but I can see where people are like, really. Nosferatu's been done already twice, yeah. Well, 3 times if you count Shadow of the Vampire as well, which is hilarious. I like The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I'm a huge fan of 22 and 79 Nosferatu films too. Last Voyage of the Demeter, I will have a video. I forgot what I said about it in the video. But it was sort of like they cheaped out, I think, of what they could have done. I forget if I've been so long since I watched it and watched my video. But sort of like, oh yeah, guy survives and whatever. Not spoilers. Oops, sorry. On a over a year old movie. But it's just like, yeah, they didn't have the daringness to take it in the direction that could have gone in. But, there was good. I got a book of catching up here. I like the Klaus Kinski version. Yeah, that's the 79 Werner Herzog. And of course, happy holidays to everyone from Doug. I got a book of English translations of old ancient Egyptian literature. Nice. Both good. Just as a heads up, I will have to leave for a movie in 30 minutes. On the car ride there and back, I'll be watching on my phone. Nice. Yeah, we'll see if we last longer than a movie with your granddad, but pay attention to your granddad while he's around. Don't worry about us. Have you ever seen Shadow of the Vampire? Yes, I have seen Shadow of the Vampire. I did enjoy it. I thought it was hilarious. I have the Murnau film on DVD. Gonna try and watch it next week. Nice. I've got to say some things about the new Nosferatu, though. The setting and atmosphere are absolutely 100% perfect. Oh, that's good to hear. Willem Dafoe was a vampire, yep. I think it's hilarious that Willem Dafoe has been now in 2 Nosferatu movies. So, it's like, okay, sure. You said, what's the point, if I remember correctly? Yeah, yes, that makes sense. Like, why do we need to see this one episode of, like, we know what happens. We know the outcome. We know what it has to be, except when they change it slightly to accommodate the new movie. What's the point of seeing all of these sailors get horribly killed? Unless it tells us something about the human condition. What's the point? Yeah, it's been so long since I watched that. It kind of half blocked it out. Last Voyage of the Demeter was based on a story by Bram Stoker. Well, kind of. I mean, it's a chapter in Dracula, but it's sort of like I can see where, like, the story of the sailors doesn't matter, so why would you spend time on it? Same thing as, like, in King Kong, right? Like, why would you have a 15-minute spider pit sequence when the sailors don't matter? The story's not about them. Poor sailors, their lives never matter. Unless it's Godzilla -1, which I watched last night. My kiddo gave me a box of swag for my birthday, December 3rd, and Christmas. Mostly anime trinkets, but also Godzilla finger puppet, the burning version. Oh, cute. Show the Vampire was on my Christmas list. I didn't get it, however. I can now talk to people without a phone translator. Well, yeah, there you go. That certainly helps. Yeah. Yeah, actually, speaking of the Godzilla -1, that was one of my presents to myself. Because people just give me money for my birthday and for Christmas because they don't know what to buy me. So I bought myself with Christmas money. Yay! Got the Blu-ray for Godzilla -1. Hooray! Finally, I got to watch that again last night, and I still think Godzilla -1 is like, I think it's the third best Godzilla movie after the original and Shin Godzilla. I still think Shin Godzilla is better than -1, but they're very different movies, right? Like, Shin Godzilla is a black satire of Japanese government bureaucracy. It's not really about, like, characters, whereas this is a character study, looking at Japanese post-war trauma through the lens of these characters in this movie. Very different movies though, so it's hard to like really compare them, and I'm not gonna like fist fight someone over which is better, this or Shin Godzilla. But still, like, the third best Godzilla. Not necessarily my third favorite, but definitely third best Godzilla movie. And finally, got myself the Blu-ray for King Kong. So hooray. Now I can actually watch this where, like, the scenes of the ship in fog don't look like blocky pixelated. Actually looks like it, high quality. So 2 of my things I bought myself with my Christmas money. Let's see. Love the black and white version of Godzilla -1. I did not see that one, actually. The ortho version, whatever, the black and white version, I don't think was ever in theaters here. If it was, I didn't notice it. I didn't see anything about it. But yeah, I didn't see the black and white version, and I thought, I wasn't super like chomping at the bit to see it, because, like, seeing this and Shin Godzilla, which they also re-released in black and white, I know that. The colors in this are so rich that it's like, other than like the novelty of seeing it in black and white, I don't know what that would add to it, really. I mean, it's like a film from the 50s, right? It's a film from the time period the movie takes place in. But like what I've said about colorizing black and white, like, you can't just do that, because black and white is an art form of its own. So is color film. So you also can't reverse that. Like, you can watch a color movie in black and white, but it's not shot like a black and white movie is, right? So I didn't see that, but yeah, Godzilla -1 minus colors, the single greatest tagline ever written. That's true. I'm hoping for a more expansive edition of Godzilla -1. I was disappointed with the special features in the Blu-ray. Yeah, I haven't got around to them yet. Because we started watching this, and then I saw that Monsters with Attitude, which is another YouTube channel that I've been following, they have like 600 and something subscribers. So go subscribe to Monsters with Attitude. Yeah, they had a Twitch stream last night of Wrath of Daimajin number 3. I've been following their Daimajin things and making snarky remarks in the comment section and stuff. So, even though I love Daimajin, but it's like Mystery Science Theater, watching their streams. Yeah, I interrupted watching this to watch Daimajin 3, and then went back to watching this. So I ran out of time to watch the special features. And I actually invited the Monsters with Attitude people to come and crash my live stream tonight, so we'll see if any of them show up. But Yeah, they also gave me the advice to you should start your own YouTube channel. It's like I have my own YouTube channel. I have more subscribers than you guys do. I give people a Christmas list every year. They rarely follow it though. They say it's too long. Yeah. I have done a thing of like telling different people specifically, like, here, you can get me this, you can get me that. But mostly I actually, like, I don't tell people what to get me. Partly because I went through this phase for a while where I wanted to, I was feeling so overwhelmed by the commercial part of Christmas. Oh, you have to buy all this stuff for all these people and yada yada yada, that I just like went cold turkey off it. And I just stuck to like only the religious stuff, only religious Christmas. So I didn't do a tree, I didn't do nothing like that. It was just church and church related things. That's what I did for Christmas. I told people, don't buy me anything, just donate money to charity. Donate that money to charity you would have spent on my present. And then I kind of eased back into stuff, like on my own terms. And for a while, I had a Christmas that looked very much like Nightmare Before Christmas. Like my tree was all like purple and skulls and whatever. But just ease back into it and stuff that, like, on my own terms of like what I want as part of my Christmas. And then I married into a family where their main expression of love is giving gifts. So that's been tough. That's been tough to keep up with that. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if the bride is listening in on that or not, but she knows that. She knows that that's been uncomfortable. But yeah, so but as far as presents go, it's like, again, my interests are so weird and specific that I either have to tell you exactly what I want, or it's best if I just buy it myself. So, where were we here? Because Godzilla -1 was the first kaiju film to win an Oscar. Yes, for as little as the Oscars matter. Yes, it was the first kaiju film and the first Godzilla movie to win an Oscar. For the American Academy Awards. I mean, Shin Godzilla won like Best Picture for the Japanese Academy Awards. I got a real Soviet naval flag from the 1950s from my parents. Cool. This wasn't even the only Soviet Union related gift I got. Big fan of the Soviet Union expose. Or those trophies for its defeat. Oh my god, you finally have it. I just watched the entire Shin trilogy. Surprisingly, I had the most fun. Oh yeah, right. Most fun with Kamen Rider. I haven't seen Shin Kamen Rider actually. I've seen Shin Gojira and I've seen Shin Ultraman, but not nobody here showed Shin Kamen Rider. I think partly because for Shin Ultraman, it was literally like me and the bride in the movie theater. And in fact, this other couple, when we went to see it, it was us and this other couple. And then one of the attendants, one of the ushers in the movie theater, came in and said, "If you're here to see Top Gun, it's actually in the other theater." And the other couple got up and left. And then the usher was looking at us like, "Did you hear me?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're here for Ultraman." So we actually had like a private showing of Ultraman in the theater. But yeah, that's probably why they didn't show Kamen Rider. Because we were the only ones that saw Ultraman. Hello, Turner. Welcome. Are you into Ultraman? There are so many movies and TV shows based on that character. I like Ultra Q. For Ultra Q is brilliant. I love Ultra Q. Because Ultra Q is a lot like the Twilight Zone. It's like if you did it's like a cross. I did a video on Ultra Q. Ultra Q is like a cross between the Twilight Zone, Showa Godzilla, and the British Avengers TV series, like Mr. Steed and Mrs. Peel. It's like a cross between those, and it's brilliant, and I love it because I also love all those things. I love Twilight Zone; it's my favorite TV show. The British Avengers is great, especially I think it's season 4, the first full season with Mrs. Peel, and Showa Godzilla, obviously. So I love Ultra Q. I'm not as in love with Ultraman, but I do have the first series of Ultraman. And I do enjoy it, but it's not enough to make me want to like catch up on 50 years of Ultraman. So, like I see other Ultraman stuff and whatever, and I've watched like the Netflix anime, and the other Netflix, the new CGI one. Watched that as well. So I enjoy Ultraman stuff, and I own the first Ultraman series, but I'm not chomping at the bit to like buy every Ultraman series. That's a bit too much for me to want to invest in right now. Maybe when I'm like fully retired as opposed to semi-retired. Am I into Sentai at all? No, no. I've I thought about like how interesting it might be to actually watch like the original Super Sentai. Um, like Power Rangers, the original like the first Power Rangers hit when I was a young teenager. And it would be interesting to kind of revisit that and watch the original Japanese show that became Power Rangers. But just again, haven't got around to it, and I have so little time to sit and desire. I could make the time if I wanted to, but to actually sit and just watch like a whole series is a lot of effort right now. I love to have a copy of Godzilla -1. Well, I found mine at Walmart, so and Walmart Canada gets like nothing compared to Walmart in US, so it's probably there. I have several seasons of Power Rangers on DVD. Nice. Started telling people just walk down the Jurassic Park section of Walmart. Yeah. Bye. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. See you, Turner, if you're still here to hear me say bye. Sorry if we didn't get to you soon enough. I don't know too much about human Christmas religiously. How does it differ from dinosaur Christmas? Not being a practicing dinosaur, it'd be hard for me to say what the differences are. I know about human Christmas, but not as familiar with dinosaur Christmas. The only ones I know is Human Christmas is in December and Santa. Rankin Bass not only produce several Christmas specials, correct. Someday I'm going to do a video on the Rankin Bass Holiday Special Cinematic Universe. But they also did a co-production with Toho and made King Kong Escapes. Correct. Rankin Bass did the King Kong Show cartoon, and then worked out this deal with Toho to make movies based on that cartoon. And that's where King Kong Escapes come from. And in fact, Ebirah Horror of the Deep was supposed to be a King Kong movie as well, which is why Godzilla acts so much like King Kong in it. Like, he's revived by lightning, which is a carryover from King Kong versus Godzilla. And he has an inordinate interest in young women. And it takes place on a tropical island. So that's all King Kong stuff. That's all inherited from the King Kong part of the script. They just put Godzilla in there instead of King Kong. Yeah, but King Kong Escapes is also awesome. King Kong Escapes is like the best King Kong movie after the original. Today I just purchased the year 2025 Universal Monsters calendar for myself. Nice. Where did that go? What is your favorite Rankin Bass Christmas special? Rudolph. Easily. Rudolph. Always Rudolph. Rudolph is like the one I have to watch every year. My Christmas is not complete without watching Rudolph. After that, my inclination would be to say Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July would be one. No, Rudolph Shiny New Year is pretty good because it's all the islands of the past years are fun. And Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, which, if I remember correctly, that's like the Avengers Endgame of the whole series. Like, that's the big end one. No, is it? Oh god, they're all blending together. Okay. It's Rudolph is the first one. Which is the one that has where Rudolph loses his powers because he accidentally used them for evil. Is that Christmas in July? No, Christmas in July. No. Year Without a Santa Claus. Right, okay. That's why I'm confusing the Year Without a Santa Claus. Year Without a Santa Claus I like because it's got the Miser Brothers in it. Yeah, Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. That's the one where Rudolph loses his powers. That's the Avengers Endgame of the Rankin Bass Holiday Special Cinematic Universe. But yeah, definitely Rudolph is the first one for sure. I got my friends a life-size cardboard cutout of Vladimir Lenin. I enjoyed Shin Kamen Rider, but I had to pirate it. Fair enough. I think the Soviet Union is interesting, but I would not like to live there for obvious reasons. I'm just fascinated on the 20th century history, and communism is a big part of the 20th century. Yeah, my dad actually came to Canada in 1952 after his family, and 15 million other Prussians, Pomeranians, and Silesians were ethnically cleansed by the Soviet Union. So I got feelings about communism in the Soviet Union. Not a big fan, shall we say. You mentioned buying your own gifts earlier. I did the same, including Funkos of the 10-inch Godzilla 54 movie poster for Godzilla vs. Mothra and the Invisible Man from Universal Monsters. Cool. A Godzilla lookalike appeared in the first episode of Ultra Q. Yeah, Gomez is just the Godzilla outfit with some added like horns and frills and stuff. And Godzilla also appeared in Ultraman as well, with a like Dilophosaurus frill on him. I saw Space Giants when I was a kid before I knew who Godzilla was. Cool. I just started watching Super Sentai, started with Zeo Ranger, which was so darn different than the original Power Rangers. I'm sure it was. That was a Godzilla costume from Ebera Horror of the Deep. Nice. Rankin Bass also did movie Mad Monster Party. Yes, they did. Mad Monster Party was a great, like, 45-minute TV special stretched to an hour-and-a-half movie. Could use some editing. Dinosaur Christmas is in April and is about how Jesus married Santosaurus Rex and sent him to their honeymoon in the Garden of Sweden. Okay. Martin, hey! Welcome back, Martin. Boris Karloff did the voice of Dr. Frankenstein Mad Monster Party, correct? It was actually one of his last roles as well. That and, like, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas are, like, two of his last roles. My favorite Rankin Bass Christmas special is a three-way tie. Jack Frost, Rudolph, and Frosty's and Chinese New Year. Cool. I love Alistair Sim's Christmas Carol. Yes. I own the DVD that has it in black and white and a really good looking colorized version. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it in color because black and white. But yes, the bride's favorite version of Christmas Carol is the Muppet version. But mine is, the Alistair Sim version is spectacular. It's amazing. And oh my god, I have like something I so want. Figura Obscura, Four Horsemen, Figura Obscura. They made that Jacob Marley action figure. If it didn't cost like $100, I would love to get that Jacob Marley action figure that they made and throw it in with my monster collection there. Unfortunately, that's a little bit too rich for my blood for one action figure. Phyllis Diller, the voice of the Bride of Frankenstein in Mad Monster Party. Yep. What are your thoughts on How the Grinch Stole Christmas and its 3 film adaptations? The original cartoon, Chuck Jones, Boris Karloff, mwah, perfection. The 2 feature films, have seen them. Did it really need to be expanded into a feature film? Do we need to learn about the Grinch's tragic past? No, not really. I think the original cartoon is perfection, and love it. And I went with the Scrooge look for tonight, but I actually do have like a Grinch necktie stuff, so, and Grinch socks and stuff like that. I love the Grinch's Whole Christmas, but the original cartoon. It's a great redemption story, and I love. Okay, this is something that I observed, and I talked about this in my video on It's a Wonderful Life, and I actually, that video inspired me for my Christmas Eve sermon at my church to expand on that whole theme of the fact that, like, so many of these sort of old secular Christmas movies are like scolding, like, you better shape up, you better appreciate your life, you better this, you better that. They're all scolding you. Whereas The Grinch Who Stole Christmas is actually, like, it's much more benign in that sense. Like, it's the Grinch, it isn't scolding you about, like, you need to shape up. It's like, yeah, the Grinch is being a dink, but that's not what Christmas is about. Christmas isn't about all the stuff. And seeing them still celebrate Christmas despite not having the stuff, like, embiggens his heart, right? And it's a nice redemption story, and it's not scolding you. So I actually really appreciate that, considering that, like, yeah, It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Carol and stuff are scolding you, because when you get rid of the religious part of Christmas, all that's left is the scolding, weirdly enough. Where were we here? Grange Cave. My favorite character in Mad Monster Party was the giant gorilla. Yep. It was a boar, crushing boars, wild boars with bare hands. Christmas in July just feels like a combination of the best of each Christmas special. Yeah. Yeah, Christmas in July, it's the Roman Frost Christmas in July. That's like the Avengers Endgame. It's taking all the characters from the previous films, right? So you've got, is Jack Frost in that, or is he in? Because Jack Frost, no, he was in the sequel to the, because the Jack Frost like stop motion one, that's a Groundhog Day movie. Jack Frost was introduced in the 2D animated Frosty's Winter Wonderland, the sequel to the animated Frosty. But yeah, Christmas in July is like Avengers Endgame. It's got everybody in it. It's like Big Ben the whale. It's got Rudolph. It's got Frosty in 3D finally. Yeah. I think Giant Gorillas versus It. Yep. Have you ever seen Japanese A Spider-Man? No, I have not actually. I've heard all about it, but I've never actually watched it myself. A Spider-Man. Anime Jim Carrey film. Yeah, there's like a DreamWorks or like Grinch or whatever. I think it's DreamWorks. It's a CGI animated Grinch. I love how depressing the Rankin Bass Jack Frost is. Yeah, it's kind of like Death Takes a Holiday for Groundhog Day. Japanese Spider-Man has its own giant robot. Yep, Leo something or other. I think it is Leopardo or something. My favorite Christmas Carol is the Mickey Mouse one. Unfortunately, I can't find a dinosaur one though, so no, Flintstones doesn't count. What were the Flintstones even celebrating? Jim Carrey looked horrifying as the Grinch. Yeah, live action will do that. The Jim Carrey Grinch movie is not as good as The Princess Bride. oh, Derek, that is an insult coming from you. That is brutal. How many versions of A Christmas Carol have there been? Oh God, gazillions. The first Christmas Carol was in the silent era. And there's one comes out like every few years ever since. God, I can't even remember all of them. There's like Bill Murray. Is it Spencer Tracy? No. George C. Scott did one. There's another one in like the golden age of Hollywood. Can't remember, like 40s. I can't remember what it was though. There's the Alistair Sim version, Mickey Mouse version, yeah, Bill Murray version. Yeah. I can't even remember how many there have been. They couldn't call the giant gorilla Mammoth Party King Kong for some reason. No, you can't. Not at that time. That was right in the thick. When Mad Monster Party came out, that was right in the thick of everybody realizing there was a huge copyright problem around King Kong and who actually owned him. They would have had to pay for the rights, yeah. Yeah, at that time they would have had to pay, well, they would have paid RKO for King Kong. But then RKO was involved in all these legal issues with the Merian C. Cooper estate. No, actually, no, Cooper himself. He wasn't dead yet. With Merian C. Cooper, because Cooper maintained that he owned King Kong. And then the outcome of that court case was that RKO owned the movie, but Cooper owned the novelization and the original concept. And that's where the comic, where did it go? Oh, it's down there. Can't see it. But that Gold Key 1968 comic book comes out of that. That one was officially licensed by Merian C. Cooper. But yeah, so suffice to say that I could see Rankin Bass not being enthusiastic about having to negotiate with somebody to have it called King Kong. So I just called him It. And that works fine. Everybody understands what it is, anyways. Plus, if if they were allowed to call him King Kong, you wouldn't get all of those sort of jokes around it, and this sort of tension of what it is, and what is coming. What is it? Hearing you struggle with Rankin Bass lore is hard because it's a major hyper focus of mine. sorry. It's not that, well, it's not that I don't know it. It's that it all blends together after a while. And I've seen all of them. I own all of them. So, in fact, I even own, well, now I only own the one. Here Comes Peter Cottontail. The one with Vincent Price in it. The other Easter ones, Here Comes Easter Bunny, and the 2D animated Easter Bunny one. I got rid of those because I wasn't like in love with them. But the Peter Cottontail one is great because there's Vincent Price in it. Iron Tail. So yeah, I've got all the Christmas ones, and I've got that Peter Cottontail Easter one, and I got Mad Monster Party. Did you Japanese Spider-Man had the first Power Ranger Zord? Yeah, I believe that. Problem with the Jim Carrey movie is that you are kind of rooting for the Grinch because the Who's are such a-holes in that adaptation, yeah. It was more like the Who's ruined Christmas, yeah. Did you know there was an episode of The Odd Couple which adapted A Christmas Carol, and also an episode of, oh god, like everyone, everyone's done a take on that. Doctor Who's done a take on Christmas Carol. Mork and Mindy also did their version, yeah. I must switch to my phone. We're driving to see a boring Bob Dylan movie. Oh no, not the Bob Dylan movie. Favorite Rankin Bass holidays has to be Rudolph, but favorite Xmas is Peanuts. Nothing but nada beats that girly jazz soundtrack. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also very opposed to communism. My flag is really a trophy. Yeah, nice. Nice. Next thing, Christmas thing. Christmas thing I bought myself. The Godzilla 54 movie monster series, Bondi. I've been staying away from the Bondis, movie monster series ones for the most part. Limited my collection to the 5-point XL figures, which is a done series now, so that's it. That's all there's going to be. For the Bondis, got got a Mechanicon up there, got the 3 Godzilla brothers from Gojaban. But saw this, what the hell? I'll just buy it. Whatever. So 54 Godzilla. There's a couple other ones I would get more as like souvenirs when we finally get to go to Japan again. But yay. And because I am a horrible person, a monster in human flesh, I take off the tag on these things too. So, for the benefit of those who like to keep the tag, here we go. There. I just raised the value of everybody else's Godzilla 54's movie monster series soft vinyl. Ha! Liberated from his tag. Here we go. Let's see. Have you ever seen Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? Okay, if we get bored, I actually have that queued up later for us to watch. Yeah, I have seen it. It is terrible, but we might have fun watching it together. Who knows? We'll see if it gets around to that. So, if there was a Christmas Cory, what forms would the Christmas ghost take? Biblically accurate angels. That would have to be, obviously, right? Hooray for Santa Claus. There's also Muppet Christmas Carol, yeah. Also a fan of Disney version with Jim Carrey. Yeah, Muppet Christmas Carol is my wife's favorite version of it. I own the very same Godzilla 54 figure that you have. Yeah, alright, woo! Yeah, I've actually paid a little bit more for him than I could have got if I actually ordered him from the Godzilla store in Japan. But that's okay. I don't mind. Christmas money. Pia Zadora was in Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, yep. She played Germa, our queen. My goodness, Rex, I live in a state where Bob Dylan was born, and over here people treat him like a god. I'm not against communism, I just don't have money. Sure. Anyways, yes, 54. Yeah, if I go to Japan, again, I mean, we'll see. Money is always an issue, right? But I'd like to go to Japan again. And souvenir-wise, I want to get the Bondi soft vinyl of the statue in Tokyo, which they made a soft vinyl of the statue. The Godzilla the Ride version as a souvenir of going on the ride at the what's the amusement park just outside Tokyo, Showa themed. Suddenly can't remember. It starts with an S. It's suddenly escaping my mind. And then the soft vinyl of the Shin Godzilla mouth from the Awaji Island Godzilla ride. Basically just souvenirs of Godzilla stuff. But yeah, but I got this guy because he's still my favorite version. So I suppose technically I should get the Shin Gojira version because he's like my second, or no, he's my most favorite version of Godzilla, the monster, the way he looks. But 54 is still my favorite Godzilla movie because it's the classic. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians has a certain charm to it, certainly. They should make a movie where Godzilla saves Santa Claus and saves Christmas. They did. That's you got watch the Godzilla Christmas special. Oh my god. So go to the English language Godzilla channel, the official English language Godzilla channel. Look for the Godzilla translations, the English translation subtitled ones. And then for the Christmas episode. It is hilarious because Godzilla is hilarious. But yeah, the 3 Godzilla brothers save Christmas. I know that this is a Christmas show, but is there any love for the night Dracula saved Halloween? I had that on VHS as a kid. DVD has been out of print for years. Recent watch. I have never even heard of that, so I'm gonna have to watch that at some point. What are your thoughts on Rankin Bass's Tolkien TV animations, The Hobbit and Return of the King? I don't know, because I have not seen all of them. I've seen clips from them. I've not seen all of them, and I haven't read Tolkien actually. The Bride is playing. We're in the midst of the audio novels, the you know what I mean, books on tape sort of thing. Who is it read by? Not Andy Serkis, is it? Anyways, who cares? Whatever, doesn't matter. So I've been listening to Lord of the Rings, but like I'm not as into fantasy as like my wife is. I'm much more into like science fiction horror, right? So, um, not that I don't like medieval stuff. I love fairy tales. That one of the things that we connected on is Disney. It's good, loving the fairy tales and stuff. But I think every fantasy could be improved by steam-powered battleships and stuff, steam-powered robots. So, Ralph Ashley's Lord of the Rings adaptation, yeah, I've heard of them and stuff, but I'm not familiar enough with them and with the source material to know anything. Watch Monster Island Buddies episode where Godzilla and his friends save Christmas. Yes, oh my god, Monster Island Buddies is hilarious. So, I didn't buy his plush, but I do enjoy. He's one of the channels that I like instant watch whenever it shows up on my feed. Monster Island Buddies is great, and Mr. Home Arcade as well. If you like He-Man, his Adventures of Drunk He-Man are hilarious. But at least for me, because I have a weird sense of humor. But another thing that I got for myself is this. Wacha! Mars Attacks book. And I have a whole video queued up reviewing this, so I'm not going to talk too much about it now. Yeah, the Mars Attacks. This is like the complete card set. I was looking for like a set of the cards, or reprints of the cards at least. And I came across this book and decided that the book will be a fine investment. I'd still like to get the cards someday, but this is a printout of all of the cards for Mars Attacks, which is fantastic. I freaking love Mars Attacks. I'll talk about that in the video that I've cooked up for this. Yes, got the Mars Attacks book finally as well. So that's another thing I bought with my Christmas money. So there's that. That was the book that I have. Hooray! Nice. Everybody's got that Mars Attacks book. I was the last one to get it, apparently. Well, I mean, it did come out in 2012, so it's about darn time I got it. I see me in the new version. How to convince my parents to watch Nosferatu and not the Bob Dylan movie. I went, oh, nice! If I start a podcast, it's going to be either about couches or Monster Island Buddies. Nice. What else? I suppose this one. So, tiki stuff. So, my birthday was yesterday, and every year, a local bar, which is normally like a sort of a Caribbean rum bar, does the Beach Bum Berries Sippin' Santa, which is this like Christmas tiki pop-up thing run by Beach Bum Berry, who he started out collecting and recovering all the old cocktail recipes from old tiki bars, like all these lost recipes, and publishing a bunch of books, Beach Bum Berry books, recipe books, cookbooks for these cocktails. And he started his own bar, Latitude 29, in New Orleans. And sort of out of that, he started the Sipping Santa pop-up thing. And so we went to that last night, and I got a tiki mug, which I haven't actually opened up yet, so this is where we find out if it's in one piece. But this is, the drink was great. Actually, it was kind of like a slightly chocolatey painkiller if you're into drinks, but yeah, and a sort of coconut mug there with the Sippin' Santa on the front there, but I liked it because you can just turn it around and, well, it's not Christmassy anymore, now it's tropical. But yeah, it's like this carved, like, raw coconut, like, still green sort of thing. Nice. Add that to my tiki mug collection. Hooray. Love Mars Attacks by Fur Dinosaurs Attack. Yes. In fact, I even have it's still here from when I was making my video on where's it? Oh my god. When I was doing my video for Mars Attacks, I pointed out I still have my Dinosaurs Attack cards. Woo! These are my original ones. These are the ones I had from when I was young. Because I was around when Dinosaurs Attack was a new thing. So yes, Dinosaurs Attack is also kicking. Slaps hard, as the kids probably don't say anymore. I see your Godzilla and Christmas Brothers behind you. Yes, of course. They have to show up for Christmas. Merry Christmas. I've been trying to get into tiki, but it's hard when you can't drink alcohol or most human recipes. Fair enough. I mean, dinosaur tiki would be kind of cool. Tropical islands teeming with dinosaurs, right? That's why when we move, the King Kong stuff is going in the tiki bar because there's nice little crossover there. It's also why I'm partly not in a lot of tiki groups anymore, is because I would not want to share photos of my home tiki bar with King Kong and have a whole bunch of people going, "Oh my god, like King Kong's not tiki." Meh. But did you know that in addition to King Kong Escapes, Rankin Bass also produced The Last Dinosaur Toho? Yep, I did know that. Did you ever hear of the Willis O'Brien and Ray Harryhausen tribute film, The Primevals? I got the Blu-ray for Christmas, and it had an interesting story, but I thought it lacked more stop-motion monsters. I don't think I have heard of that one, actually. That's something else for me to look up. I haven't seen The Last Dinosaur in years. I saw The Primevals. A friend of mine did the special features for it. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, Derek knows everybody. Sorry, D. Christopher Tatum. Knows everybody. Knows all the authors and stuff. And all the cool people. Dinosaur Tiki is something I am working on. Yep. Well, there are like Jurassic Park tiki mugs and stuff, and I don't know if they still do it with all the Jurassic World stuff now. So at the Universal Studios, they've redone all the Jurassic Park stuff as Jurassic World. Understandable. I hate Jurassic World, but yeah, whatever. I understand. But I know just before they did that, they were really leaning into like this sort of like Jurassic Park tiki connection. If you were to go to Jurassic Park, there would be like a tiki bar there, kind of thing. I don't know if they're still doing that with Jurassic World type stuff, but certainly a crossover. I mean, it is technically Isla Nublar is a Pacific island, so it is on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. I have a Cthulhu Tiki mug. Cool. I also have one of those. But I don't like the one I have as much as I like other ones. If I still have that one, even. Do I still have that one, or did I sell that one? I might have sold that one, actually. It's been a while since I've actually looked at my tiki mugs. Primeval is great. Richard Boone was more frightening in The Last Dinosaur than the T-Rex. Have to leave soon. We're in a parking lot. I'll be back. All right, see you, Rex. If we're not still on by the time you get back, thanks for hanging out. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, as well. But yeah, what else did I get? Transformers. I got Transformers. So, this is one. I don't know if he's listening in right now, but one of my cousins got me here. I have like this collection of like random Transformers just totally random Transformers that my cousins get me because I don't know if I got them into Transformers. I definitely got them into G1 Transformers when I showed them the movie. But yeah, he sent me this one, Point Blank. This is the Transformers Legacy United remake of the Target Master Point Blank Transformer. So, which again, I don't have any particular emotional attachments to this particular character, but he's going to go into my assortment of Transformers that my cousins have bought me. So, you have a King Kong Tiki. I just saw a Godzilla Tiki mug on a site. Entertainment Earth, maybe. Yeah. I actually don't have a King Kong Tiki mug. There have been two. I think no. Okay, there's at least one out there. It's a Mondo. Mondo made a King Kong Tiki mug. That is MonsterVerse King Kong. So it's Kong with the scratches across the chest. Mondo came out with that one. Mondo also did a bunch of Godzilla ones, including one I wish I did get, which is Showa Godzilla with like waves around the base of the mug. Oh, it's so good looking. I wish I got that one. Tiki Farm did a version of a King Kong tiki mug where Kong is in like a Hawaiian shirt. It's just called like, it just says the King on the bottom. So it's kind of like a King Kong / Elvis crossover mug. It's kind of weird. That would be cool to get. I wish I could have more King Kong tiki mugs. Alas, no. Most of my tiki mugs are Disney ones, actually, because either trips that I made to Disney, or I have a friend who used to go to Disney World quite often, and so when the Trader Sam's Tiki Bar there opened up, he got me like a set of all the mugs from there. My favorite of which being the Nautilus, which was actually my other contestant for a Tiki Bar, for a home Tiki Bar, be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea / Mysterious Island themed Tiki Bar. But King Kong has sort of overtaken 20,000 Leagues in what I collect and what I'm super into right now. So I got mostly the Disney ones, and then just a few ones, like random ones that I like, and souvenir ones as well, which is sort of where I'm mostly down to collecting. Like this one that I just picked up here is a souvenir of Beach Bum Berry sipping Santa. Whoops, Freudian slip there. So it's sort of like souvenir mugs are kind of like more what I care to collect right now. Partly out of space as well. Like I'm kind of don't have any more space for tiki mugs. But also like tiki mugs are super expensive. Like you think this stuff's expensive? All this Kong stuff? Hell no. Tiki mugs are like, $150 for this one mug if you are lucky enough to get it. Stuff like that. There are other Disney mugs I wish I could get, like the Monster of the Whale mug. I had a friend who was supposed to get me that, and he went rogue. Either forgot, or he just didn't bother, or whatever. But I wish I got the Monster of the Whale mug that they had released. But whatever. Primevals is the short with all the stop motion creatures and monster dinosaurs. Okay. Did you see the latest Transformers animated film? I did not. I heard it was good. But just been really busy. And I think I talked about this last time too. That it's based on the version of the Transformers story that I don't really care as much for. I like the more naturalistic origin story for the Transformers. So from G1, so where the Transformers were a slave race built by the Quintessons, and they revolted against their slave masters. And then once they drove them off, then the military robots started this war, and that was it. That was started the Great War. I prefer that origin. The whole one of like, Primus is like this divine being, and he creates the 13 primes and all that sort of stuff. Doesn't really do it for me. And then the whole like, oh, Megatron is just like this misunderstood, slightly overzealous revolutionary. Is like, no, I like my bad guys bad. So that's that. So in the comics, I actually like the origin of Megatron, where he's like Donald Trump, like make Cybertron great again. I think that's actually pretty hilarious. Let's see. Orson Welles is one of the only people I know who made some of the greatest films, radio plays, and also did wine commercials and was in a Transformers movie. Yeah, Orson Welles got a hell of a career, eh? His first movie was the greatest movie ever made, and then his last movie was Transformers the movie. Like, okay. Most movies have failed lately. Yes, they did. Did not see Gladiator 2. Sorry. Skipped it when they had the sharks in the Roman arena. Yeah. Hey, Colin. Assuming you are the same Colin that I know in real life. Thank you very much. I actually just missed talking about Tiki. I don't know if you were there for that. But show you, I picked up the Sippin' Santa Cocolata mug there, so that was fun. Add that to the collection, my souvenir mugs, which is pretty much all I collect at this point, because I don't have room and money for other mugs. So, yeah, you notice your icon land lost. Yeah. How would the Romans transport sharks? Yeah, God. They went out to sea, put them in the fish tank, and took them back. Oh, okay, well, sure. Sure, why not? Other Transformer that I have. So again, cousin bought me random Transformer point blank. But then with Christmas money, I bought a Quintesson Alicon there from the movie. So again, more than it kind of beats my whole like, oh, my Transformers are all secondhand. Look at me, I'm so frugal. But whatever. Saw him at the store. There's a great store here in Calgary, tftoys.ca. Even if you're from anywhere across Canada, they ship across Canada. Flat rate shipping, so it's great. And yeah, Alicon. So you know what? I'm just gonna buy him. Whatever. Who cares? I got Christmas money, so gonna add him to my movie character collection, and I'm gonna unbox him now because why the heck not? Let's see here. Colin, it's me. Yeah, sorry we didn't make it. Got hit with the plague that everyone else has. Yeah. I heard even like Aubrey has been fought a bad cold this past week too. So I don't take it personally. Don't worry. Like, I feel blessed when people do hang out with me, but I don't feel like I don't feel offended if people don't. So don't worry. Ooh, we got like this. Oh, right, yeah, this is the Earthrise. So it's got like this map and this like decoder in here, which whatever. Who cares? Ooh, Alicon. I don't feel offended if nobody hangs out with me unless I should be offended. It's like, actually, yeah, we don't like you. Like, oh, okay. Have a few Transformers figures myself, mostly RC and Black Arachnia. Cool. The girl Transformers. I actually, because I've mentioned like my parameters for my big Transformers are movie characters with Earth alternate modes. So like Cup that actually looks like an actual pickup truck, that sort of thing. I actually got the Energon RC where she turns into a motorcycle, but she's still like pink, not like the movie version, like the live action movie version. But there's the female Autobots, so like Chromia and Elita 1 and Lancer and all of them. Those ones I've been tempted to get secondhand as well. I don't know why. I'm not like that attached to the female Autobots, but I don't know. Whatever. But I haven't actually taken that plunge because money. So many things I want to collect. In fact, I'm showing you what I have bought. I have like a buy order, like sitting there ready to go. So like in another month or two, I'm gonna have like another buy unboxing live stream probably with some Kong stuff as well as some Mothra stuff and some other little fun things. All right, now how does this tail go on? It comes with this tail. I guess it goes on to here. Seems like that's about. Is that about right? Should go like this. Ooh, I don't know, and I don't want to break it. Well, that would work if that's the way to do it. Let's go in there. Ha! There we go. There. He's got his tail on. That hides his little head in the back there. Black Arachnia, so you're a Beast Wars fan, Queen. I have a rat transformer that I want to paint up to turn into a crossover with Narnia. Ratacheep. Yes. That is an outstanding project to do. Is turning Rat Trap into Reepacheep from Narnia. I do the episode on DVD. I have an amazing collection. Who has the amazing collection? Queen or me? I have the Vampira mask in the upper right. That is a vase, actually. That is a vase that was... Sorry, I'm still playing with the Alicon here. That is a vase that was released by Creepsville. I don't know if it's still available, but yeah, Creepsville. I sold these in my old shop and kept one for myself. In fact, she sat on the cash desk. But yeah, I love Vampira. Vampira, I mean, she was a bit kind of loopy, but as one would expect, I suppose. But she's great. She's the original horror hostess. She's gorgeous. The original goth chick. I suppose one could argue Theta Barda is the original goth chick. But yeah, I love Vampira. She's great. So yes, I got the vase of Vampira. I had a patch of her as well, but I lost it somewhere. I'm hoping I'll find it again when we're packing. But unfortunately, lost the patch of hers. But I do have a pin as well, because I have like all this crap left over from my store that I closed. But yeah, the Vampira's Ghoul Gang pin. I had the patch for this, but I had lost it somewhere. But I got that. Oh, Cover Tales from the Crypt pin as well. What else I got here? Oh yeah, Undead, EC Comics, Count Chocula, and Monster Freak. So those are all going to go on a jacket. I want to find like a Dickies Eisenhower jacket, that kind of style. Slap all those guys on there. I wish I didn't lose the Vampira patch, but hopefully I'll find that again. Somewhere, it's got to be somewhere in here. Couldn't have left the house at least. So, but anyways. Oh no, who was holding that? Oh, that was, oh no. Elvira has fallen. Get back up there. And Elvira, talking about Vampira, Elvira. Have affection for her because she's the one I grew up with. But in a cat fight between the two of them, I'm putting money on Vampira. Oh, I forgot I got an e-reader. Amazon Kindle. I can download files from Project Gutenberg and read stuff I don't really want to buy. Yes. That became like my hobby for a while. I got a Kobo, which I don't know if they're in the United States, because I think Kobo was attached to a Canadian bookstore. But yeah, the Kobo is non-proprietary software. So you could just download like EPUB files from Project Gutenberg. And I even got a program so that you could edit those files and add covers and stuff to them. So yeah, I read like a ton of old Victorian science fiction novels on my Kobo. Thinking of Narnia, I bet Cory is looking forward to the upcoming Netflix Narnia series that has been reimagined for modern. Oh, you have no idea. I'm excited about anything that has been reimagined for modern audiences. Where could it go wrong? Is it even possible for it to go wrong? I used to cosplay as Vampira back in the day. Nice. Do I watch Svengoolie? I would if I could, but I can't. So I don't have a channel. Well, I don't have TV, period. We just have the TV hooked up to the internet. So, always remember Vampire from Planet from Outer Space. Yes. I actually saw the Reaction Super 7 Vampira, Plan 9 Vampira figure. I was almost tempted to get it, to break my rule about how I think Reaction figures are ridiculous. Because Vampira and Plan 9. But stop that. I would love to find. I have not seen it. I've seen every other one. But the NECA Toonie Terrors Vampira. I would love to find her somewhere. And get her. But again, I have never seen her anywhere. So no Toonie Terrors Vampira for me. But who knows? We'll see where things are at, because I have been wanting to take a drive down to Great Falls, Montana, go to the tiki bar there, the Sip and Dip, which has mermaids, live mermaids, and do a little shopping at like the Walmart and the Target and the Hobby Lobby and whatever. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. And then maybe they'll have the NECA Toonie Terrors Vampira down there or something. But we'll see when that happens. I met the actor who played Kelton the Cop. Oh, nice! Oh, that's awesome. I met Kelton. The man for whom the trilogy is named. Richard Strange, do they even show Svengoolie up in Canada? They do show Svengoolie, at least in Vancouver, because I have a friend who lives in Vancouver, and he watches Svengoolie every week. So, and post photos of him with his feet up in his tiki bar at home, whatever he's sipping on that night, and watching Spenguli. I also have a library card as well, so both my e-reader and the library will help me not buying books I don't really want. Yeah, that's good. A few sites where you can watch Spenguli. Okay. The Daily Motion carries... Oh, where does it? I might have to. I am about to conk out and have a cat sitting on me. All right. See you later, Derek. Thanks for stopping in. It was good to have you here. So does BitChute. Okay. Colin, I want to do another road trip to Sip and Dip, but it's hard with our dollar sucking so bad. Yeah, no kidding. I am lucky in that all the tour guiding I do over the summer, I get a lot of tips in American. So I've got like $600 US saved up right now. So I'm like, bring it on. Let's go to the Sip and Dip. Yeah. Or actually, one I wanted to do, I was hoping that this autumn we might have been able to do a road trip down to Missouri, of all places. But unfortunately, life got in the way of that. But I'm still maybe holding out for spring, but it's just holding out to next season will keep me going. But yeah, the fact that we're like, what, 70 cents to the US dollar right now is such a drag. Like, it's ugh. So, but yeah, I've been itching just to get down there to just go toy shopping, let alone go to the Sip and Dip. So we'll see, I guess. Maybe if there's a slight upswing, we can get something going on and go do a big like group road trip and buy a block of rooms at the O'Hare there. Did you ever watch the weird Mexican Santa Claus where he fights a devil and the other behavior of the world's children? I've not. I feel like I've heard of that one, but I don't know for sure. Incidentally, I've been playing with the my Alicon here. Yay! I don't know if I should try and figure out how to transform him in front of you all. Embarrass myself, but if I can figure out how to transform this guy without looking at the instructions, of course. Ooh, there, I figured out that part. Yeah, I feel like I've heard of that Mexican one, but I don't know for sure. I feel like this guy has like the most basic transformation. It's like, okay, there's his hands. That probably tabs into something. Oh, yeah, there it is. Eh. Sorry. Suddenly got like, must transform him. Eh. Get in there. There we go. And his little... Yeah, he transformed from a robot into a slightly different looking robot. Amazing. Let's see here. Have you ever seen Dinosaurus? Yes, I have. It's one where a T-Rex, Brontosaurus, and a caveman come to life. Yep. Yeah, I have seen Dinosaurus. One could argue it was one of the last Universal Monster movies, depending on if you count it as a Universal Monster movie, because it was distributed by Universal, but not made by Universal. I have it in my videos of, like, the Universal Monster movies, what they are and aren't, but if somebody says they're not, technically, it's like, I'm not going to fight them on it. I went to Vancouver in the summer of 2023. I actually was watching Spenguli in a hotel. I think the film he was showing was The Shadow of the Cat. Yeah. How'd you like Vancouver? That one was made by the same director as The Blob. Really? MST3K did a riff on it, yeah. Steve McQueen passed on that movie. Probably good for him to pass on Dinosaurus. Frankly. All things considered. The Blob is amazing. Dinosaurus, not quite as much. There, Atticon. But I'm going to keep him in robot mode anyways, because that's the coolest mode. I meant over the behavior of the world's children. So Satan was like, I will make them all bad, and Santa's like, over my dead body. And Santa, being a saint, has the upper hand on that one. Presumably. In fact, he even keeps a little demon around as a little buddy. Krampus. You ever see The Land Unknown? Yes. It was about people standing in prehistoric land in the Antarctic. Yes, I have seen The Land Unknown. That is also a Universal movie as well. And I have seen that listed, and I have continued that listed with the Universal monsters as well. So, also, one of my 14-year-old relatives got drunk at our Christmas Eve party. It was a bad situation my family had to endure. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your misfortune, expose. That's kind of funny, though. Definitely inspired by the Lost World. Yeah. They're all inspired by the Lost World. Every single story about, oh, we went to this place and found dinosaurs is inspired by the Lost World. And that itself is even ostensibly inspired by antecedents like King Solomon's Mines, which doesn't have dinosaurs, but does have like a lost civilization, and Journey to the Center of the Earth, which does have dinosaurs, except it's a bit different because Journey to the Center of the Earth is really a time travel story without a time travel machine. But yeah, Land Unknown basically is the Lost World. It's just a different way to get into the Lost Land. Hell, King Kong is the Lost World. It's just got a giant ape in it. And yes, I do remember that 2025, the 100th anniversary of the original Lost World movie. I will be doing some videos about that as well. Since I'm one of the world experts on the Lost World, I might as well actually do videos on it. So, there we go. Fun fact, Spot the dragon in the Munsters was a recycled T-Rex head from The Land Unknown. Yes. Yes, you're right. Yeah, the Munsters is I don't like the Munsters as much as the Addams Family. Munsters a little too on the nose, but I do appreciate that the Munsters is like, you know, the Universal props and stuff, right? It's made by Universal, so it's, you know, Uncle Gil or whatever his name is. That's just the creature with a trench coat and a hat on. Yeah, that the dragon is the T-Rex from Land Unknown. Yada. Why haven't we got another adaptation of Lost World recently? You know, that's no big loss. There has not been a good version of the Lost World since 1925. And there has never been an accurate version of it. Even the 25 version is wrong. It's just, it stands on its own merits, at least, as a silent movie. But the 60 version is terrible. The 93 version has a good cast, weirdly enough, like John Rhys Davies, David Warner, Eric McCormack. That's a good cast. It's just the movie itself is like, what is this am I watching? The 98 version is god-awful. The TV series is awful. The BBC one, the first episode is okay, but then it goes off the rails completely in the second episode, and it's like, oh, it's got the crazy, like, Peter Falk is like this crazy fundamentalist preacher guy. It's like, do we need that? Do we really need that in the Lost World? Didn't have its own story. They had to improve it. As for why no others, well, I mean, there was the King of the Lost World. I think it was the last one, which was made to cash in on the 2005 King Kong. So it's basically the Lost World, but with King Kong in it. Which, to be fair, King Kong is the Lost World with King Kong in it. I think that was the last one. I don't know. I mean, technically any Lost Plateau, Lost Land with dinosaurs in it is a Lost World adaptation in a sense. But why not specifically Conan Doyle's? I don't know. And I mean, right now in the current political climate, I don't think anyone would want to touch it because it is like unabashedly colonialist. Like you can't avoid it. And the theme of it, it's elegiac. Like the characters know that as soon as they reveal the existence of the Lost World, it will truly become lost. But they're they make no apologies for the fact that, like, exterminating the ape men is part of the progress of civilization, right? So it's kind of hard to really do like a proper adaptation of a Victorian colonialist novel. So that's probably why there hasn't been one recently. Be my guess. Vancouver was fun, if you were wondering. Nice. Yeah, I've been to Vancouver a few times. It is all right. It's not my favorite place. Um, I like Victoria, actually. Victoria out there on the island is like, I would like to move to Victoria like someday. Um, I would not be at all opposed to that. But we'll see. That's probably never going to happen. Because Victoria is also very expensive because it is so lovely. But Victoria is like basically it's transplanted like a part of London, just like pop, pop, and put it on the Canadian coastal frontier. But Vancouver is nice. I mean, like Stanley Park, especially, is like the best part of Vancouver. A lot of props from Universal Films wound up in the Monsters. Jock Mahoney starred in The Land Unknown. He's also played Tarzan in 2 films. Land Unknown T-Rex Roar has been reused just as much as the Wilhelm scream. Cool. They weren't afraid to use guns in the Lost World. No, they weren't. Yeah, like, I don't know how you would film the Lost World today to be sensitive to modern pieties. Like, I personally think that you would have to just accept that, yeah, these characters are colonialists, and they do help exterminate the ape people, and that's just what happened back then. And you can try and make a commentary on it within that context. But I mean, that's just what it was. Right? So, I don't know. I don't know if I even try to adapt that anymore. But again, there hasn't been a good version since 25, so whatever. They weren't afraid to use guns for a very 19th century depiction of exploration. Yeah. Yep. No, they were unapologetic. I mean, they in the book, to be fair, the destruction of the ape people is ambivalent. Like, they're not like enthusiastic about having done it. They see it as something a bit more like an inevitable tragedy, right? Challenger, he goes off about how, like, well, this is the progress of civilization, right? We have been witness to one of the great conquests, akin to the conquest of fire, the conquest of the wheel, and the conquest of cavemen over the primordial ooze and whatever. But the characters themselves, they are a bit more ambivalent about like what it means to have exterminated and or enslaved the ape people. But yeah. The ape people were not friendly, no. We went all around Vancouver and Vancouver Island, so I went to Victoria, nice, and it was fun there too. You could read Victorian science fiction in Victoria. I also got a lot of tea when I was in Vancouver, yeah. Yeah, that's why I like Victoria, is that it's like the Victorian era. Yeah, it's named after the Queen. It looks like the era, and it has this wonderful quality of. It's very symbolic of Canada itself, right? Because you have this little transplant of Britain, right there, surrounded by the wild Pacific coast and the forests behind it and the mountains behind it and the sea in front of it. And so you have this rugged North American Pacific coastline and this tiny little bit of Britain just pop right in there. It's so cute. And I just want to pinch his cheeks. And temperate, too. They post about how we planted our December flower beds. Like, you sons of a guns who get to plant big December flower beds. But yeah. Yeah, Vancouver is Vancouver. But Victoria, I actually love Victoria. I actually like the Irwin Allen Lost World. Maybe because I watched it in the theater when I was little. Yeah, maybe. I didn't like it that much just because, I mean, it's so completely antithetical to everything I liked about The Lost World. It doesn't have real dinosaurs in it. It doesn't take place in the Edwardian period. It's like, it's got none of the things that appeal to me about The Lost World. So, this one with live reptiles. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's not even dinosaurs. It's just like these reptiles that were dressed up and embiggened on screen. So, sorry, still been playing with my Alicon. I always feel sorry for those reptiles. Looked like they made them fight somehow. Yeah, that's another thing too. Is that there's the ethical issue around those movies as well. I try not to get too sensitive about that because that's presentism. But it's hard not to feel bad when you're watching these reptiles fight on screen. Like, it never was good to do it. I just try not to judge it, because that's presentism. But I went to a kayak trip in Victoria and got to see seals on a rock. I saw someone getting arrested in Vancouver. He was probably high. Probably. Yeah. The last time we were in Victoria, we did the kayak thing too, right? Like, you were at the dock, right? You probably just like kayaked across the harbor and then went out to that rock with the seals on it. Would be my guess. And then stopped at Redfish Bluefish, the little kiosk there, to get the grilled salmon, which is amazing. The Irwin Allen Lost World was a kid's film. Yeah, definitely. Would agree with that for sure. They actually bit each other and drew blood, yes. See, that's the thing. I don't... not as cool with, animals getting hurt for our entertainment. In that sense. Like, I know I'm saying that as someone who, like, I've gone to rodeo and stuff, but the purpose of a rodeo is not to hurt the animals. It's a sporting event that uses animals, but it's not deliberately trying to hurt the animals. Whereas, like, they're deliberately trying to get these animals to fight in this movie, just for the sake of having a movie. That I'm not as cool with. Did you ever see... Oh, did I ever see Czech director Karel Zeman's Journey to the Beginning of Time? I love Karel Zeman. Okay, I have, like, this whole other life outside of this sort of character. My Monster Kid Cory persona, my Monster Kid Cory channel is like all this mid-century monster kitsch, right? It's King Kong and Godzilla and Universal Monsters and Vampira and all that sort of stuff. And that's what I talk about, and that's what my channel's about. And throw in some tiki here and there and that sort of thing. But I have this whole, like, other life where I love, like, the Victorian era medievalism, Victorian era Gothic revivalism, fairy tales, Victorian science fiction. We did a live stream at one time about Victorian science fiction. Steampunk, quote unquote. Like, all that stuff. I love that stuff. That's what most of our house looks like. Like, most of our house is not this. Most of our house is, like, Victorian style. So, like, Karel Zeman, like, kid you not, is one of my favorite directors. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, Karel Zeman's Baron Munchausen, is, like, one of my favorite movies. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. It's like peak romance, this paean to the cultural place of the moon in our romantic imagination. And it looks like Gustave Doré engravings come to life, and Gustave Doré is, like, my favorite artist. Love Karel Zeman. Deadly Invention, also. Stolen Airship is amazing. Journey to the Beginning of Time, I don't think it's, like, his best movie. I like the Stolen Airship and Baron Munchausen and Deadly Invention more. Off on a Comet, that sort of thing. But I appreciate what Journey to the Beginning of Time was doing. Based ostensibly off of a Russian Lost World type novel called Plutonia. It's these boys off on a boy's own adventure where they're going down the river time. They're time traveling without a time travel machine, right? It's very much like the Jules Verne Journey to the Earth in that way, right? They're traveling geographically backwards in time rather than traveling through a machine backwards in time. So I appreciate that, and it has this amazing sense of awe and wonder and mystery about it, especially when they reach the end of the river and they're just looking out over the abyssal ocean of ancient time, the waters of creation and stuff. So good. So nice. And again, it's not like his best movie. For that would be Baron Munchausen. But certainly has a lot going for it. And I would say it's probably one of my favorite dinosaur movies, because of its romantic imagination. right? So my favorite dinosaur movies would be like The Lost World, King Kong, Jurassic Park. I also like Jurassic Park 2, actually. I'm one of the few people that does. And Journey to the Beginning of Time would be like my favorite ones. And then if you want to expand it to prehistory in general, then throw in Brother Bear as my favorite Ice Age movie. Yeah. Some reptiles are harder than the making of that movie. Yeah. They also used live reptiles in James Mason version of Journey to the Center of the Earth. Yes, they did. Remember that film? I think I want to move to Victoria as well. Yeah. Victoria is lovely, and that is where, again, why do I like the fact that it's like so British? Well, I just explained why, right? My whole other life of being into like the Victorian era and the turn of the century, the gay 90s aesthetic, um, Victorian science fiction, steampunk, whatever, all that stuff. And so the idea of being able to like step out of my door and walk through like this just charmingly lovely little Victorian town, keeping in mind that the property values in the Inner Harbor are insane and there's no way I could afford it, and it would be step out of my door and then take like a 45-minute bus ride to get to downtown Victoria. But yeah, Beacon Hill Park in Victoria, just lovely like English Victorian garden park space, and yeah. Anyways, yeah. Point is, have a whole other life as like this Victorian aesthetic, Victorian aficionado that isn't quite the Monster Kid Cory character that I've got. This is a part of me, but it's not all of what I got going on. Have you ever seen Valley of the Dragons? You know, I haven't. And yes, I know it's supposed to be an adaptation of Off on a Comet, but I have not actually seen it. I know it is on a Mill Creek DVD collection. I just have never bought it yet. I love those Verne films. Journey to the Center ranks right up there with 20,000 Leagues. Yeah, what I like about Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1959 version, is that it is this beautiful sort of hymn pay on to science. Right? Because there's so much of science fiction is actually like anti-science fiction. Like it's, here's how science is going to destroy us all. Or it's just using science as like this trapping for a different kind of story. Like Star Wars is science fiction, only in the most technical sense. It's really like a hero's journey fantasy story that just has the trappings of science fiction. Whereas Journey to the Center of the Earth, it's like, you know, it's all about the process of scientific discovery and investigation. And at the end, when everyone's like congratulating James Mason for having made this incredible discovery, he's like, yeah, but I have no proof. I have no evidence. So we need to go back. We need to go back to the center of the Earth and get evidence and have a proper expedition. And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like it's all about science and scientific process. And so it's like an actual, like a proper scientific romance. Which is like what is the old-timey name for science fiction, right? Jules Verne stuff is scientific romance. But scientific romances are not just... I do another video about this. Scientific romances are not just an old-timey name for science fiction. It's a different attitude towards it. Scientific romances are about the beauty and wonder and mystery of the world, and using science as that vehicle to the transcendental appreciation of nature. So like romanticism, non-scientific kind. So you think of like your romantic painters, Caspar David Friedrich, romantic musician, composers, Wagner, Beethoven, your romantic writers, you know, the like Coleridge, whatever. And they are like, you know, the solitary romantic genius and his transcendental appreciation of nature. But they have a very sort of anti-science pose because they're seeing the Industrial Revolution as this threat to this transcendental appreciation of nature. And then along comes Jules Verne, and he has this like stroke of brilliance that no, science can be the vehicle for that transcendental appreciation of nature. That you can get a submarine or you can get a giant cannon to shoot a spaceship, and you have this whole new way of appreciating nature and getting exposed to it and seeing these mysterious things that humans could only imagine before. And that's the brilliance of it. And like the Lost World, Conan Doyle's Lost World is like that. It is a like he took everything that they knew about dinosaurs at the time and transplanted it into a plateau in South America. Journey to the Center of the Earth, the movie, is very much like that. It is all about that scientific process, science as transcendental appreciation of nature. I think after 20,000 Leagues, actually the best Hollywood Verne adaptation is Around the World in 80 Days, 1956, the Michael Todd version. Because they take all that time to actually film on location. So, and this is before Discovery Channel and stuff, right? So you're there, you go in to see Michael Todd's Around the World in 80 Days, 1956, you go to the theater, and boom, on this massive Cinerama screen, you see the Great Buddha of Kamakura, like there. You see the bullfighting rings of Madrid. Like, you see all of these world wonders that they actually went and filmed there, right? And it's all about that, again, that romantic appreciation of the world and cultures and people and nature and all that stuff, and it's all captured right there in that movie. So I think like Around the World in 80 Days like most captures the true spirit of Jules Verne as a Hollywood movie goes. Woo, you guys got me going. Here we go. Barry gives us an explanation of why they were going through time. Yeah, that was a terrible film. Milton Bradley, it was mostly stock footage from only NBC. Rodan has a cameo in Valley of the Dragons. He was passed off as a pterodactyl. Oh yeah, it's actually funny. Was the abominable snowman in Rudolph a Yeti? Sure, the Bumble snow monster. There he is, right there. It's weird that y'all snuck a Yeti in there. Online, I am a 30s to 50s horror sci-fi, but outside of the internet, I am that along with a history nerd, Victorian literature, Egyptology, biology, paleontology, pulp magazines, and classical music. Expose, you sound like a younger version of me. Excellent. Good. The spirit will not die. Yeah, we went to Jules Verne's house in Amiens. I want to live in it, yeah. Yep, we did. Last time we were in France. We went there, and if we ever go back to France, I want to go to Nantes. Because in Amiens, we saw Jules Verne's last homes and his grave. And in Nantes is where he was born. So we can see his first home over in Nantes. Nantes? I don't know how you pronounce it. Nantes. That's the next goal. Next time we go to France. Journey to the Center of the Earth traumatized me as a child. I hated what happened to Gertrude. Oh my god. Yes, Gertrude the duck. That fiend! That absolute fiend! How could he do that? To dear sweet Gertrude, who is an heir to Esmeralda the seal from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. After that, everybody had to add some animal into a Jules Verne movie. Yeah, whew. Jeez, I feel I'm spent after that Jules Verne discussion there. Scientific romances. It's been a while since I've really thought about that because my Victorian science fiction blog, which I have not updated in a while and nobody's noticed because nobody cares, but just putting the URL in here. The way it breaks up that URL in my chat window is pretty funny. That was like my big thing. Like, we had that D Christopher Tatum in there earlier. That's one of the ways he knows me. Yeah, the Victorian science fiction stuff was like my huge thing forever. And I get, well, you grow and you change and you find new interests and stuff like that. And the Victorian kind of bled into the World War I to the interwar period, so Golden Age of Hollywood, that sort of stuff, and then that kind of bleeds into the mid-century monster kitsch, right? But Son of Kong made you cry. Kiko was so brave then. Oh my god. Yeah. I shall carry on your legacy. Oh, I'm also autistic. Forgot to mention. That's okay. That's fine. I'm not. I know that. I'm actually too attuned to other people. Yeah, just watched At the Earth's Core the other day. That film has telepathic pterodactyls. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about or At the Earth's Core the other last live stream, I think. I liked Mighty Joe Young better. Queen at least didn't have a tragic ending. Mighty Joe Young didn't do it for me. I'm not sure why. It just was like, okay, another gorilla. I think it's because I'm not like into gorillas specifically. Like they're okay. I've worked with them before when I still worked at our local zoo. But I'm not like in love with King Kong because I like gorillas. I'm in love with King Kong because of the movie. I love the movie. So Mighty Joe Young was like, okay, it's another gorilla. The best part about it was the tiki bar in it. Sorry, African bar. I know tiki purists will be like, that's not a tiki bar. But the bar was the best part. The lions and stuff. I want to just hang out in that bar. You should go to House on the Rock if you get a chance to hit Wisconsin. Well, I wasn't planning on hitting Wisconsin. Although, if I ever do, weirdly enough, if I ever do go to Wisconsin, I want to go to Baraboo, Wisconsin, which is where the Circus World Museum is. I want to check that out. Weirdly enough. Because, again, part of my thing like Victorian to mid-century interests is circus, carnival art. I love carnival art. Carnival art's great. Like sideshow art, circus art, carnival art, all that stuff. I love that stuff. So I want to see if I ever end up in Wisconsin somehow. I want to check out the Circus World Museum. Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote At the Earth's Core, Creative Tarzan. Yep. A lot of the same people who worked on King Kong also made Mighty Joe Young. Yep. Willis O'Brien and Marion C. Cooper. Yep. Yeah. Mighty Joe Young is essentially like a spiritual successor to King Kong, for sure. Nobody doubts that. Yeah. That's why they even included it in the old 3-pack there back in 2005. Kong, Son of Kong, and Mighty Joe Young. I went on to the Capitol tour of the Wisconsin Capitol. Nice. Wisconsin. Wisconsin is for lovers, right? I actually know a minister from Wisconsin as well. And they have a stronger Canadian accent than I do. They really rolled them. Get those really Canadian R's in there, right? The stereotypical Canadian accent is really mostly just like a Wisconsin / what else is up there? That whole area. Dakotas, North Dakota, Wisconsin. What else is there? It's Milwaukee's Wisconsin. There's another one up there. It starts with an M. Like Michigan. There we go. God. You think I would know all of your states somehow. I don't I know it. Have a few Tarzan books, but no Pellucidar, the whole John Carter series. That's a lot of books. I have read the first 3 John Carter novels. After that, I was like, okay, got it. I also, as you will see if you go to the link to my old blog, have 4 volumes of Victorian science fiction that I've edited and republished. And I have enough material, actually, for 2 books on fiction specifically about Mars and Venus. Like, Victorian space travel to Mars and Venus. But, like, I can count on one hand how many people have bought those other 4 books. So, it's not a pressing concern for me to finish those. Wouldn't mind a remake of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I would. I mean, if somebody other than like Disney could do a good one, that'd be great. But I mean, Disney is more intent. Well, they'd want to do like a prequel to the original, or like a quasi prequel boot to 20,000 Leagues. But then they'd want to like conspicuously fix it to make it woke. which again, race swapping it doesn't bother me because Captain Nemo is Indian. So it'd be swapping him back to his actual race. That is fine. It's just that I can't imagine them giving the story the nuance it requires. Because Nemo is understandable, but he's not necessarily heroic. Like, he is alienated from society, from his family. He's a victim. He's traumatized by colonialism. But he only achieves peace when he is reconciled to society through the experience of helping the cast of Mysterious Island. In 20,000 Leagues, he dies in like this chaos of alienation and violence, symbolized by the maelstrom. But in Mysterious Island, he reconciles to humanity by helping out these castaways on this island. And I'm not sure modern Disney would pick up the nuances of that. So, let's see. What are we currently living in Madison, Wisconsin? And yes, the Capitol building is gorgeous. It's a sequel to Mysterious Island yet. Merry Christmas! Thank you. Love my post about the New York Times earlier today. Oh my god, yeah. I tried to stay like fairly non-political on my blog or my channel because I want to generally focus on things that I like, although I might do a video about something that I think is dumb coming up here. I try and focus on things that I like, and I don't want to fall into the trap of being like a culture warrior thing. But when I saw that today, I was like, you gotta be effing kidding me. And that's what prompted my community post there about the fact that no, you never had to pretend to like something bad because the people criticizing it were Nazis. You just lacked the moral courage to stand up to people who call everybody Nazis. You never had to pretend to like it. You chose to do that because that was the path of least resistance. You just lacked the moral courage. So F you. I was so angry when I saw that. It's like, oh my god. I'm the opposite. I have every Pellucidar book. I also forgot Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. That's the one I was thinking of. Not Michigan. Minnesota. That is like the super thick Canadian accent. is in Minnesota. Since you are a past zookeeper, not as zoo educator, not a zookeeper myself, do you think zoos should be in our modern society, or do you agree with people on the far left that it's wrong to keep wild animals in captivity and they should close? I am 100% in favor of zoos. I think zoos are great. I think, okay, the modern zoo is one of the most heavily regulated industries out there, right? Like, there is, to become an accredited zoo is like serious business, which is why I always like, I have to laugh, shake my head when I hear people talking about how much better refuges are than zoos. No, they're not. Refuges are not certified. They're not. There's like the American Association of Zoos, American Zoological Association, AZA. There's a Canadian Association of Zoos and Aquariums, CAZA. There's all these accrediting bodies for zoos, and these refuges and stuff don't get accredited, right? Look, if you're gonna visit a place, look at their website and look at their accreditations. If they're accredited by the AZA, by CAZA, wherever you are, then great. If they're accredited by like the Better Business Bureau, don't. That's just like a shitty little refuge for, usually they might be like, at best they might be like rescues for like exotic pets, but they're not like an accredited zoo. Accredited zoos are great, and they do fantastic work in helping to preserve species and rescue species from extinction. My favorite example is the Przewalski's horse, or the Asian wild horse. The Asian wild horse is the closest living relative to the Ice Age horses. Like, you look at the cave paintings of horses, like the European cave paintings of horses, and that's exactly what the Przewalski's horse looks like. Like, it's that horse. That's the one they're talking about, that they did pictures of. That horse was declared extinct in the wild in the 1960s. Every living Przewalski's horse is a descendant of 9 individuals that were alive in zoos at that time. Every single one. And there are getting close to 1,000 or so Przewalski's horses now. They're native to Mongolia. There is a national park in Mongolia where they've been reintroduced, and they're also found throughout the world in refuges, like zoo run refuges, like proper ones, including um, the Calgary Zoo here where I live. I think the preservation of the Przewalski's horse alone justifies the existence of zoos. If it wasn't for zoos, that animal would be extinct today. And that's just one of them. Like, I know that our local zoo is involved in the preservation of the whooping crane. The whooping crane would be extinct if not for my zoo that I worked at. Black-tailed prairie dog, black-footed ferret, burrowing owl, all three of those, which are all intertwined as well ecologically. So that's kind of, you work with one, you work with all three. Yeah, like so many things. Vancouver Island marmot as well. Zoos do fantastic work, and they are sort of the arc that preserves these animals. In fact, there are some species where the zoo population actually has a higher genetic diversity than the wild population, because the wild population is so fragmented and so beset by problems and habitat loss and hunting and whatever else, poaching and so on. But the zoo population of the animals actually are more genetically diverse than the wild population is. So zoos will increasingly become like arcs for the preservation of these species, and the hopes that someday we can restore the habitat to restore them to the wild. I think people get caught up in this really sort of pseudo-emotional, pseudo-empathetic, getting caught up in their feelings. Like, oh, isn't it sad that the poor animal's in captivity? Most animals love it. Like, behaviorally, most animals love it. They don't have predators. They don't have to worry about starving. They don't have to worry about disease. They don't have to worry about predators. They're safe. They're fed. They give stuff to play with. There's some animals where it's more challenging than others, like polar bears are nuts to try and keep in captivity. But as long as the habitats are good, they're kept well, it's a accredited institution, the animals are fine. Don't worry about the animals. They're fine. Yeah, and people get all up in their sympathies about, oh, the poor animal looks bored. Well, no. Being bored is a privilege of being safe, which animals in the wild aren't. We get that every time something happens at our zoo here as well, because our zoo where I live is sort of well known for having very geriatric population. Like, mostly we have really old animals here, and when they die of like natural causes because they're old, people are like, oh no, our zoo just kills animals. It's like, no. Animals live out their lives here. And you look at, like, yeah, he was, this lion was 30 years old. It's like, lions live to like 15 in the wild. Like, animals in zoos live like twice as long as animals in the wild do, because animals in the wild die of violence and starvation and stuff. So no, I'm all for zoos. Zoos are awesome. Zoos are fantastic, and I think if people really understood what zoos do, then they would be much more supportive of them. It's not just, oh, looking at the animal in the cage, as though education is a bad thing anyways, right? There's, over the last decade, there's also been like this general attack on education, which is weird because it's like, everyone's like, oh, the education system is woke. But, there has been a lot of these threats to, just like existential threats to the existence of museums and zoos and aquaria and stuff like that, by people who think that they should just not exist as institutions. That they're colonialist and outdated and whatever, and they're not progressive enough, and they should just be eliminated. And yeah, that's actually really scary, because that's an attack on knowing things. And just, even if the only reason zoos existed was just to educate, had nothing to do with conservation, even if, that would still justify the existence of zoos. That experience, to be able to see these animals in real life, that would still justify it, because education is an intrinsically good goal. Anyways. God, another rant. There, that's got me going again. Merry Christmas, everyone. Where were we? There's a whole bunch up here I got going on there. All right. Okay, Martin asked about zoos. There's my answer. About 20 minutes of answer. I'll bet 20,000 Leagues would be about environmentalism today. Who knows what it would be about? I mean, the logical subject would be colonialism, but 20K remake? No, not in today's Hollywood. They're inept script writers. Yep, exactly. Captain Nemo is basically an anti-hero. That is true. What about a remake of Hunchback of Notre Dame? Yeah, I mean, there's never been a truly accurate version of Hunchback, right? I would love to see somebody attempt an actually accurate adaptation of Hunchback, like full on, like brutal ending and everything. Do I trust anybody in modern Hollywood to do it? Not really. If it was like a French adaptation, like a European adaptation of it, maybe it would turn out all right. Like the French might be able to get it right. Definitely not Hollywood. Hollywood can't abide it. Hollywood can't do a Victor Hugo novel fearlessly. They can massage it and try and make it like, oh no, everybody lives, hooray, which is not Victor Hugo, not even French. So, yeah, I would like to see a proper adaptation of Hunchback. I don't expect to see that out of Hollywood. I don't think they'd hire Leonardo DiCaprio in order to bury him in a ton of makeup. Yeah. There is a 20,000 Leagues prequel show called Nautilus. Has that been made? Is that a real show? I know Disney wanted to do a prequel series, but that never happened. I don't actor. I bet they wouldn't keep the original ending of Hunchback. No, of course they never do. Nobody likes a sad ending. That'll be the first thing they changed. Yep. Even Disney changed the ending in their version. Yeah. God. Well, I mean, I do not like the Disney version of Hunchback at all. Okay, it's got good art, good character designs, beautiful animation. I'll give it all of that. But it's such a shallow and trite version of the story. And everyone loves Frollo's song, and it's like it's not even a good song, and he didn't sing it well. So I don't like it. It's so trivial and so superficial and so two-dimensional for the richness of the novel. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame de Paris by Victor Hugo is like one of my favorite books, if not my most favorite fiction novel. So how how Disney treated it specifically was just so poor, and all they did it for was because they wanted to have a Les Mis style musical. So they turned Hunchback into a Les Mis style musical as filtered through Disney. So it's all harmless and benign and superficial and shallow, and everything bad about what people say about Disney is like in Hunchback. So did you happen to see Disney prequel to Lion King? Nope. Did anyone actually like that? Nope. I know those animal rights organizations like Defense of Animals and Paws always try to paint zoos as terrible places using mainly elephants as their templates, yeah. Yes, and most of them do not know what they're talking about. Elephants are a complex situation because, first of all, they are so threatened in the wild that we need to keep them in zoos as a genetic arc. They need to be kept in zoos as an arc because we can't guarantee their protection in the wild. It's still good to support conservation in the wild. One that I like is the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. Basically, you can adopt a baby elephant, and you're basically donating to help keep these orphan elephants alive. They take in they're a rescue for orphan elephants. But elephants, they are very intelligent, very social, very complex animals. And so, like, we actually had a herd of 4 elephants here at our zoo, but we realized that to best meet their needs, we either had to expand the size of our herd or we need to ship them to a bigger herd. And unfortunately, with our climate, because we are in Canada, not the best place to keep elephants, unsurprisingly. So, rather than make half of the zoo like one giant indoor elephant enclosure, we shipped our 4 elephants to the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, and that is where they live now. I said I think one of them just passed away actually recently as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So as long as you can keep them well and keep them healthy and keep them meet their physical and emotional needs, then yeah, it's important. Um, you don't really want to keep elephants in isolation, except for like the one at Edmonton. So north of where I live, north of Calgary, there's a city called Edmonton that has this elephant who who's lived her entire life alone. So she actually doesn't like other elephants. Like they tried to give her social opportunities with like our elephants and stuff, and she was like, "No way, weird. What are those things?" So she's a very unique case. But typically, for healthy elephants, they need to be in a large social group. You should check out the Anthony Quinn version of Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's very faithful to source material. Ooh, okay, will do. There have been so many remakes over the years. Yeah, I would love a real adaptation of Count of Monte Cristo. They just never seem to get it. That is true. That is true. Charles Lawton and Lon Chaney versions are the best. Yes. Charles Lawton. See, I like the scale. I might do a video on this sometime, comparing those two versions specifically. I love the scale of the 1923 version, and it's classic. It's a silent era. It's classic Universal monsters. I love the scale of the 23 version, but Lawton's performance in the 39 version is unreal. Like that is like a role he was born to play. If you could take the grand scale of the 23 version and put Charles Lawton in it, it would be like the perfect Hunchback movie. As close as it gets. I mean, they still change the ending in both versions, but yeah, definitely. In fact, it's the Charles Lawton. Where is he? Charles Lawton Hunchback. I've got right behind me, right here. There is the Mego Charles Lawton Hunchback figure. Do you think they'll ever clone a woolly mammoth? Yes, I do think that is possible. I mean, theoretically, it all makes sense. It should work. What you do with them afterwards, I mean, that's the challenge. They would have to live in captivity. There's like no way around that. They need to be kept safe, right? You can't just unleash them in the wild. You could put them in that Pleistocene Park project going on in Russia, except Russia's kind of got a bit of a tense relationship with the rest of the world right now. So, a place like the Calgary Zoo, like where I live here, would be perfect for keeping, a cloned woolly mammoth. And then once you build up a diverse enough population, then you could start considering wild reintroduction. But I mean, I fully support it. And the reason why is that when it comes to de-extinction, cloning animals, right? It's not possible with dinosaurs. We don't have to worry about that. DNA it degrades too quickly for dinosaurs to ever come back. And the whole Chickenosaurus thing is just like a genetic freak. There'd be no point in doing it. You wouldn't learn anything from it. But like Ice Age animals were so recent. We're still in an Ice Age world. We're just absent these large animals that we used to have. But otherwise, it's still the same ecosystem, basically. And that we, as humans, likely had something to do with their extinction as well. Like, we drove them into extinction, or we were one of the major factors in which caused them to go extinct. So I think that almost puts a moral responsibility to try and bring them back if we can. Like, it's not like, should we do it? It's like we're kind of morally obligated to because we drove them into extinction the first time. But it's the two big things you have to consider. One is where you're going to put them. So you have to build up that population before you can even consider reintroducing them wild. And then you have to consider what is the impact of them going to be on populations, on ecosystems that are already under duress because of human activity, right? So climate change and habitat loss and stuff like that. So like, would it be good for that ecosystem to throw a woolly mammoth into it? Maybe not. Maybe not. There's also the human psychological effect as well, right? The idea, oh, well, we can just clone them and bring them back, so it doesn't matter if we drive tigers into extinction in the wild. We can just clone them, right? That attitude is, that's not the attitude you want to encourage with de-extinction. De-extinction is like the last resort to bring back animals that went extinct, thousands of years ago. It's not the cure-all for like why we don't have to care about tigers anymore because we can just clone them. Like that would be wrong. So you have to be careful about that attitude happening. But do I think we can clone a woolly mammoth? Yes. I think the theory is sound. We just have to actually do it. That would be quite the undertaking. I have had the song "It's a Long Way to Tipperary" stuck in my head for the past 6 months. Oh my god, expose. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm hoping they will bring back the moa bird. The extinction of those modern dinosaurs is such a tragedy. Yeah, that's even more so. Like, even animals that just went extinct in the last couple centuries. Like the Tasmanian tiger, the moa, the dodo, like the great auk. Like, those even are even more obviously like they went extinct because of us. It's not even a question. So, bring them back. Yeah. Do it. Does anyone have any tissue or donor cells from a woolly mammoth? Yes, there was lots of woolly mammoth tissue. Frozen in Siberia. Siberian permafrost. Most of those mammoths are about 40,000 years old, which is perfect. You still have DNA that's available in those. It's been preserved in the permafrost, so it's frozen, flash frozen DNA. They already have sequenced mammoth DNA. Like, we have complete sequences of mammoth DNA as well. So I say theoretically, you just take that DNA and you transplant it into an elephant egg, and theoretically it should work. But of course, they've been promising it's 2 years away for the last 10 years. But, what do you think we should do if there's an alien invasion? I don't know. Depends what the aliens want. It's kind of hard to predict that. If they want to be friends, then okay, let's be friends. If they don't want to be friends, then I don't know what we can do about that. We should convince the aliens to move to the Sahara Desert or someplace like that. And we're getting War of the Worlds territory. Yeah. I don't spend too much time worried about what we should do in case of aliens. Because even if there is intelligent extraterrestrial life out there, the chances of us ever meeting it is pretty darn slim. I actually take sort of the opposite view of, like, sort of the Drake equation. Because, like, the Drake equation, sort of how people interpret that and stuff is that, oh, there should be aliens everywhere. Life should be everywhere. So why haven't we met it yet? That's weird. Maybe they're out there and they're just quiet because the universe is scary. But I take the other view that, like, actually, you look at our history, and it's a miracle that life survived on our planet. like the universe has tried to wipe out life on Earth so many times. It's a miracle that anything is here, let alone an intelligent species that is capable of interstellar communication. So, think, you have all those population bottlenecks, those extinction events that Earth itself went through. Now you transplant that to outer space and the rest of the universe, and even if, like, one other planet, even if it's like 1,000 other planets had life on them as well and had intelligent life, they'd be so uncommon that they might as well not exist. Like, we'll never know if they exist, right? And even if we were to communicate with them somehow, well, think about how far away they are. We'd be communicating with them as they were, millions of years ago by the time the light gets us. So, I don't know. I'm not worried about aliens. Cory, you think real fast. First Men on the Moon or From the Earth to the Moon? From the Earth to the Moon. Scientific romance. Honestly, I'm getting tired, so I'm probably going to go to bed, see a vampire squid. Night expose if you're still here. We'll see you next time. Amen. The Drake equation is absolutely absurd. Yeah. I was once a security guard at a quiet museum, and we made several plans for zombie invasions from various entry points. Zombie invasions can be so annoying. Yeah. Well, it helps that little museum also had an entire military section, right? But yeah, expose dropped off. We've been going for about 2 hours now. I don't really feel like watching the movie I had queued up. So maybe we'll draw this to an end. I've opened up all of my presents and unboxed my Alicon here and stuff. So there are samples in museums of mammoth DNA. Yeah, we have mammoth DNA. That's not the problem. Yeah, maybe we'll start thinking about drawing this to a close here for tonight and for this year. This will be like the last live stream of the year. Oh my gosh! Say what? Just keep the doors closed. Yeah. Just wait until either summer when they all get bloated and explode, or wait until winter when they all freeze. Right. There's actually a Cracked article back when Cracked was still good of why a zombie invasion would actually be like not that big of a problem. It's like because of guns, because people would just be throwing staplers out of skyscrapers, stuff like that. Also, Drake equation doesn't account for the gas giants, aka our protectors from asteroids. Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, like we found what now thousands of planets, exoplanets, and none of them are capable of harboring life as we know it. So yeah, it's like life might actually be far more uncommon than we imagined, and the real question might not be like where is everybody else that's supposed to be out there? It's like, why is there anybody on Earth at all? Like, why did life survive here? But great show today. Thank you, Milton. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good time. You guys got me going on so much stuff. Jeez. So, zoos and cloning and de-extinction and Jules Verne and scientific romances and the Drake equation. And good lord. We go all over the place in these. Like Shaun of the Dead, yeah. Bye, have a happy new year. You too, Milton. You too, Milton. Yeah, everyone's dropping off here. So, you know what that means? That means that it is time for our previews of coming attractions. So, I said that I had a whole video queued up about that Mars Attacks book. So, that is going to be the next one. That is coming out probably next week. Unless I do this other video that I was thinking of. But, so we got going through the Mars Attacks book, talking about Mars Attacks and why I like Mars Attacks, even though it's all gore and violence. And going through that book and all that sort of stuff. So that's the next video coming up. And next one after that I'm working on is why Sunset Boulevard is so great. Because I just got thinking about how much I really enjoy that movie. And thought, well, let's make a video about it, because that's what this entire series is why these movies are so great. And yeah, and then I also, because that Todd McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman versus Kong toy has come out, and I feel like I should do a video on why I'm not going to buy it, because it's misses the mark in a few ways. So I might actually film that coming up here and do a video on that pretty soon. I do talk about the Tim Burton Mars Attacks movie in my video. Not a huge fan. I explain why in the video. But yeah, I do talk a little bit about the Tim Burton film in that. And then of course another live scream, sorry, coming up here. Obviously once a month we get together, do the live streams, and maybe I'll do another live play of Godzilla Battle Line. I just didn't have time this month. By the time like half the month passed, it was like, oh geez, I didn't even realize it. So yeah, we didn't do the live play of Godzilla Battle Line this month, but hopefully next month maybe we'll have some time to do that. But yeah, so anyways, that's what we got here. Doug, to you as well. Bon année, feliz nuevo, yada yada yada. Etc. and so forth. Thank you everyone for spending a little bit of the, what's this, 4th day of Christmas? Yeah, 4th day of Christmas with me. And Happy New Year to you all. Wishing you all the best. And we'll see you again next year. We'll see you next year. With that. Oh, a watch party. Oh, I'm actually set up for watch parties. Hold on a sec. Let me show you this. We didn't actually do it, but boom, there we go. I have a screen for doing watch parties. So we might start doing that too. We'll see how much time I have even. But doing like public domain movies. King Kong Escapes unfortunately is not public domain. But we might do watch parties of other like public domain movies. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime and in between time.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.